Welcome back to Big Gold Belt Media. It's Damien G here with another review for the channel, this time reviewing Twilight of the Gods by Stone Quarry and Xylem Animation. Obviously, that's Zack Snyder's production company, Eric Carrasco, Jay Olivia as well. Scheduled for release on Netflix on September 19th. It is definitely an adult-themed animated project that portrays Norse mythology and the characters in a way that will knock you upside your head if you're only familiar with them through the MCU, Thor, Loki, and the like, because this is not your dad's MCU. This is not your uncle's MCU. This is Norse mythology with all the vitriol and the vile and the violence that you would hope to expect in an animated extravaganza. I'll call it an extravaganza, sure, because that's what this was. The story centers around characters of SIGRID and LEIF and their foray into their dealings with people like Loki, Thor, the Norse gods, Balder, etc., Odin. Again, I'm going to warn you, if all you know of Norse mythology is the MCU, this is not going to end well for you, because this is filled with copious amounts of violence. Obviously, it's animated, coarse language, sexual innuendo, sexual scenes for all you kids out there, just in case you might not be old enough to watch this. So let me repeat, there is violence, there is blood, there is sex, there's unbridled chaos within this world. And I got to admit, I was kind of captivated. I was drawn in, dare I say seduced, because there was a lot of seduction in this if you really think about it. If you're someone who's easily swayed by adult themes and they just happen to be animated, oh, you are in for a treat, my friend. But like I said, I was seduced by it almost. By the time I treated this as if I was watching Game of Thrones. And I've never seen a Game of Thrones episode, so how could I do that? By acting as if you can't trust anyone at all in this series, how everybody is self-serving, everyone is out for themselves, their own agendas and their own wants. And you're going to see throughout this season, you'll either love these characters, hate these characters, feel for these characters, or despise these characters. And something will always feel a little off with all these characters in this show. Because, as I said, watching this, you're captivated by the visuals, the animation, the script, which I thought was really well done, the voice acting, which I'll get to, the themes, the way that the story plays itself out. It starts off as very one note and then becomes all encompassing. But as I just said, everybody in this series seems to have their own agenda. By hook or by crook is the motto I will go by, because something always felt a tad off with everybody in this cast. All these characters. Dare I say, there's no good guys and bad guys. There's just a lot of morally gray with a lot of bad. Okay, let me rephrase. There is a bad guy, but even the bad guy's little one note. The villains over the course of this season, they may be a little one note, and that's actually one of my detractors. One of the things I wanted to deduct from this show. It was good. I really thoroughly enjoyed the whole. Let me fix this camera for you kids out there. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, the unbridled chaos within this world had me captivated, wanting to watch each and every episode. I ate this quickly. I took a whole weekend evening and just binge watched it a la Netflix back in the old school characters, back in the old school days of when I watched, let's say, The Defenders or anything like that. But as I said, you'll see as the season goes by, there's going to be some times where you love these heroes, but something's a tad off. Now, things I really loved about this, okay? I love the animation of the show. Great. Top notch. But, and that's not to take away from Xylem Entertainment, or animation, I should say, they did the damn thing. But the voice cast, let me come here. The voice cast, as someone, if you followed here on Big Gold Belt, or you know my reviews, you know I'm big on voice acting. You know I'm big on if you can be in that booth and you can captivate your audience, You're doing a good job. I don't know what I'm doing with the pointer hand here, but the voice cast was top notch. I felt like everybody was there, had me there, teleported to World of Gods and Fables and Blades and Blood, and it was done almost effortlessly. Effortlessly, I can talk, I promise. Each character had so much gravitas to it, thanks to the voiceovers. It's all due to the entire voice cast. My personal favorites, honestly, for me, are Peterson Joseph as Loki. Dare I say a on par, if not a better Loki than Tom Hiddleston? You know, I don't know. Let me know in the comments. But the way he portrayed this version of Loki, not just the trickster and not the MCU version of Loki, but Loki, the troubled character, the failed character, the one with flaws. Patterson Joseph as Loki, probably my best favorite work in the show. Sylvia Hoeks as Sigrid, Chef's Kiss as the main protag, I'll say protag, as the, I'll say the Blood Bride, as she's known as in this series. She took me on a journey. To quote Marvel vs. Capcom 2, she took me for a ride. And I didn't know where this ride was going to end. And I will give you a little bit of advice if you're thinking this series is going to get wrapped up in one bow. No, it left me angry at the end. It left me irritated at the end. Maybe there'll be a season 2, maybe there won't. But it left me irritated to watch all this progression that all these characters did. If you've ever played the game Golden Axe, let me go back to the gaming really quick. If you've ever played Golden Axe, and you know there's these characters that have to rid the land of evil, Death Adder, if you played Golden Axe, or any kind of beat 'em up. These characters go on a journey together. We beat up the villains, and then you're supposedly left with this happy ending. But let me remind you, this is a Zack Snyder production. There is no such thing as happy endings in the Zack Snyder universe. So everyone in this show is tormented. At the very least, in my opinion, everyone has their own reasons for joining up on the cause, but they're all tormented. They all have something dark within them. There's no innocent people here. I know I said that earlier. I'll say it again. There are no innocent characters here. Loki, Thor, Odin, Sigrid, Leif, everybody. No innocent characters. And even when I thought I was getting an innocent character, they're not all that innocent. Gods are greedy. They're portrayed as greedy assholes in this show. I was going to call it a movie. It could have been a movie, and I would have loved it. But there are no heroes here, at least in my estimation. And I might be wrong, and you can let me know in the comments down below. But another thing I didn't like was that some of these characters should have gotten more screen time. They whet the appetite of intrigue, especially when we're really delving into Norse mythology and whether or not, I'm not a historian, obviously. I'm just a guy watching a show. But it made me want to get to know more about these characters, right? Loki's daughters, for instance. I wish they would have gotten a little bit more screen time. They got some, but if you didn't know Loki had daughters, Loki's a dad. And the type of dad he's shown to be is something that left me a little conflicted. Because on one hand, it's Loki. On the other hand, Loki's a dad, right? Thor's a dad. Odin's a dad. Everyone's got kids almost in this damn show. And you got to see them for what they are, and they're flawed. But gods aren't supposed to be flawed, right? They're supposed to be perfect in media, how they are portrayed. Oh, but there's a lot of flaws here. These characters are hella flawed. I would have loved to see Leif, the character of Leif, depending on how you want to pronounce it. His overall portrayal in this series is something that may ruffle some feathers by a certain sect that doesn't like strong female protagonists and don't like when the male protagonist has taken a back seat to the female protagonist. You know who you are. Some of y'all ain't going to like it. I had no problem with it, but I have a good suspicion that a chunk of you are not going to like that Leif is kind of the co-pilot of this story, if not the sidekick. And he's portrayed to be a king, a strong yet understanding king. So it's going to ruffle some feathers, some reviewers here and there. Be prepared for that. I would give this show an 8 out of 10. Really, really strong 8, 8.5 out of 10. The voice cast was immaculate. I thought that was the biggest thing to this. Yes, the animation was great. Xylem did a great job in animating all this, and it was top notch from top to bottom. Like I said, the low part being that the quote unquote villains seemed a little one note. And by one note, I mean grr, I'm angry, roar, I am violent, and that's all we got. I like my villains a little layered. I know some people would rather have villains that are just evil, and that's it. And there were some villains that were little layered. I would gather to say the character of Balder. I still don't know what side of the fence they were on. Are they a hero? Are they a villain? Are they just a god? Are they... It's exactly. Right now, even now, I'm questioning myself after doing this review of just... I would have loved to have seen more of that character now that I think about it. But I give this a solid 8.5, 8 out of 10. No, 8.5. We'll bump it up. Like I said, the villains were one note. I actually wish this would have been a film as opposed to a series. I hope this gets a season 2. But I am liking what I'm seeing. Good job there, Quarry. Okay, good job there, Stone Quarry. Good job there, Zack Snyder. Good job there, Eric Carrasco, Jay Olivia. Thank you all so much. And again, overall, an enjoyable watch. So give Twilight of the Gods a watch, and you won't be disappointed. And if you got a problem with it, let me know down below in the comments. Down there, Big Gold Belt Media, all across the board on all your social media, biggoldbelt.com. Your one-stop shop for all things in entertainment and reviews. And I will catch you next time. Oh yeah, don't forget, share, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell to let you know when we drop new stuff here on the channel. I am Damon G, and I'll catch you on the next review.